Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and talk about this 90 Day Fiance debacle, which is Jay and Ashley's relationship. And I've already spoke in the past about their relationship and how it's more of one of control and her wanting to have control over someone. We know that Jay and Ashley are new to 90 Day Fiance. They were on the regular franchise of 90 Day Fiance, and then they started on 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. During the first season of 90 Day Fiance that they were on, in which they were introduced to us, Ashley made statements about how she didn't care if Jay cheated, and White Jesus could come down and tell her that Jay was cheating and she wouldn't care, she wouldn't do anything about it. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who subscribed to me on Patreon and who continue to support via Patreon. If you want to become a patron and support, you can click the link in the description box and become a patron to support the channel. You can also support via PayPal or through Cash App, and the links to those will be there as well. If you choose to support via Patreon, you will get access to exclusive live streams, exclusive content, and any other content that I put there that is not on YouTube. We also know that Ashley had a friend who would tell her about Jay's cheating and his propensity to be unfaithful. Given the fact that he's obviously young, he's 20 and she's 32, so to me that's on her. She signed up for what she signed up for, and she ended up getting rid of her friend actually and still continuing in a relationship with Jay. This is really interesting, and the dynamic to me is that of more of like a petulant child and an abusive mother. And whoever's been following the show, you probably see that. I don't really care for Ashley. I knew that her relationship with Jay wouldn't work. As the show progressed on, it's been clear that Jay isn't interested in being in a committed relationship, and that Ashley is interested in having a relationship with a man in which she can control due to her own insecurities. Now, if you guys have been following the show, Ashley has already been told that Jay was cheating, how he had sex with a woman in a barber shop. So Ashley went out and filed for a divorce. She also assaulted Jay and kicked him out of her home before filing for divorce. And now in the first look of the other show, what ends up happening, and I already knew this, is that Ashley ended up having lupus, and Jay ended up being there for her while she had lupus. As it stands, they're not together, and Jay was actually detained by ICE to be deported. Now, there's been a lot of drama going on in between that, and I feel like she does a lot of the typical things that women within the dominant society do, especially when they're in these interracial relationships. Because when we were watching the show, I don't know if y'all noticed the quickness with which she called the police on Jay. Jay wasn't doing anything to her. He wasn't even in the house. I get that when you find out that someone cheated on you, you're going to be mad, even though you sat there and literally said you didn't care if he cheated, but whatever. I guess because he's on American soil, everything changed, and now all of a sudden she does care if he cheats. She changed her mind. But after she kicked him out, Jay's already out of the house. He's literally like a few houses down talking to the producers, and Ashley chooses to call the police on him. He doesn't even know that she calls the police on him, but she calls the police on him to try and get him removed from around the house. Now, this is my thing. I don't feel bad for Jay at this point. I mean, because at this point he has an obsession with white women. The one he cheated on Ashley with white, as well as some other person that he was on Tinder during the whole Tinder situation. It was the same. So I don't really feel any sympathy for him. He should already know the pathology, and I feel like they're so very quick to call the police on people, and we see that happening right now with all of these viral videos, where they just have no problem picking up the phone and calling the police. Now, that's even a situation where she's taking advantage of him, because legally you can't kick somebody out of a home when they've been living there, and Jay has been living there as her husband for over 2 weeks. So therefore legally the police couldn't make him leave, especially considering he didn't hit her, he didn't put his hands on her, he didn't even do anything to her. She actually put her hands on him. And I'm going to talk about another instance where she threw something through his window and she was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor for doing so. So clearly she's the one who has the propensity for violence and abuse. And like I said, I believe that she's doing this because she now has a relationship, or she thought she had one, in which she had the control, and that suited her insecurities, because when she had relationships with the other men that she was with, mainly the ones who she has children by, she certainly wasn't, I noticed how she certainly wasn't in control in those situations, obviously, or else she wouldn't have been complaining of their cheating. Now, even beyond that, in like I said, in the next episode that's coming up, she's in the hospital. She has lupus. That was already revealed before the show even aired, that she had lupus, and she had Jay there. Jay was there supporting her. He left from Florida with his family, as they already said, and she went to go support her when she got out of the hospital from dealing with lupus. Now, I don't know if they're going to reveal that she has lupus on the show, but she has lupus. Now that we know that they're not together, we can disregard whatever they show on the show. It'll just be stuff that leads up to tell you what's going on. Apparently, there's a lot of things going on. In addition to Jay being deported and being held by ICE, there is a GoFundMe account that nobody should really at all donate to, in which he's asking for support and money for legal fees so that he doesn't get deported. My thing is, since Jay has such an infatuation with these white women, that's perhaps who he should be appealing to, because the person who even set up the GoFundMe account for him was another white woman. But I want to get into some of this drama that seems to be happening with Jay and his sisters, and a number of different allegations that's being made. Ashley, in her true woman of the dominant society form, is claiming somehow that Jay sexually assaulted her, and I feel like she's doing this really to mostly benefit her case and to be more vengeful than she already is. So this came out, actually was published in some blogs yesterday, where they said she's accusing him of forcing himself on her, and she supposedly has the text messages to prove it. We're going to go over some of these text messages and see what you guys think about it. I think she's just pulling a typical white woman move, though. But he was taken into custody by ICE agents last week, and he's facing deportation. We all know that this is something that Ashley was setting out to do. His visa expired. Since she didn't put his change of status papers in, he's here as an illegal immigrant. And I feel like she did that specifically so she would have all the control over him. Because, you know, with him being in the country and him being an immigrant, she has control over whether he works, whether he doesn't, whether he goes to school, anything that he wants to get done in America as a citizen. He cannot do it unless she put those papers in. And I feel like that she's disgusting because she wanted to have that control over him. So as far as I'm concerned, she's the one who didn't enter in the relationship for the right reasons. But what she's doing, I feel like, is trying to expedite him getting deported and actually serving prison time before doing that. Because what they'll do is, if you commit a crime in America as an illegal immigrant, they will put you in prison. You will serve a sentence in prison, and then you'll get deported after. So she knows what she's doing. But according to her, Jay forced himself on her. And she claims that happened during the marriage. She said that he held her down by her neck and forced himself on her. And when we go through the messages, you can tell that this is during the time when on the show you see him come in after she got out of the hospital, because she's going to reference that. But it says, the text messages actually say, okay, sure, I'm going to let you know as soon as we do, okay? So then it says, thank you very much, I got the check. So the next reply is, okay, which is clearly her. So he says, you can say I love you back. Then she says, I did, and you honestly don't deserve it. I don't think you understand what you did last night to me in the house. It's not a joke, I'm serious. So he responds and says, sorry, I hold you like that, and I never said it was a joke. And she says, you forced me to have sex with you and it hurt so bad. Then he responds and says, "You're my wife, what the F? You're acting like we are not in a relationship and I tried to have sex with you." So clearly he's not understanding what she's actually doing and what she's accusing him of. So she responds and says, "What the F? If I say no and I just got out of the hospital, then you should have left me alone." So I believe that she's concocting this story saying that he supposedly did this when she got out of the hospital after she said she was feeling sick and ultimately was diagnosed with lupus. I'm telling you guys, she has lupus. But he says, "Anyway, I'm sorry that happened." And then she responds and says, "And hold me, you grabbed me by the throat and threw me on the bed, then held me down by my wrists, which are both bruises." And then he says, "And I apologize for everything. I'm sorry, it will never happen again. I can promise you that." Now, that's not an admission of anything that he did, but to me, either he's extremely remedial or he just doesn't understand what she's trying to do, which is to get proof. The fact that she would even say that in a message says that she's trying to get some kind of proof that she can use against him to get him deported further. I'm telling y'all, she's sneaky and diabolical, but that's on him because this is usually how they are, and he's the one who entered into a relationship with her. Now it's interesting because while we've seen her sitting up here making a big deal talking about how much she's cheated, according to his sister, which she's putting out a lot of stuff on air. His sister, who, when you guys saw the show, they call her Poochie, but her name is actually Rain. But his sister is, and she's saying a lot of stuff. Like, she's saying that sex scene that you guys saw that was on the show, she said that was set up. Okay? Now, she said a lot of stuff about Ashley as well, but one of them saying that Ashley has a rich sugar daddy, and saying that she even smells bad. And it's really interesting because this is something that I commonly hear about these women. There are so many people who usually say they smell bad, and I'm not talking about regular body odor. I'm talking about their vagina, for lack of, just to clean it up, because I don't like to use a lot of dirty street vernacular. Her vagina stinks. That's basically what she's saying. And that must be something Jay told her, which to me, Jay, if you know she have dirty cooch and stale cooch and raw chicken vag, why are you even with her? That's my question. But this is not, y'all get in the comments and tell me how many of y'all heard about that too, about that nasty rank smell. Quickly, I'll do a sidebar. I know my sister said that she had a white guy for a friend, and he told her that he stopped being with white women because they smell like fish and copper. Go marinate on that one. But anyway, Jay's sister is claiming that Ashley has an old sugar daddy who she's been having paying bills, and who she's been having sex with on the side. Now, we do know that during the show she had no problem going out with her ex-boyfriend. And my thing is, as a bartender in a little dumb town in Pennsylvania, Mechanicsville, how would she be making the money to be going off on trips to Jamaica and going off on trips to New York, which you guys saw? Like, how would she be funding her life with a minimum wage job that pays you tips in a bar, and she has 2 children? So to me, that's very believable, because I don't see how she would just off the bartending be making money to support her life. I know the network supposedly pays them a little bit, but I don't think they're paying that much money. But I want to read you guys some of the stuff that her sister wrote on her Instagram, and this is Poochie. She said, "And for everyone that watched the barbershop episode, it was all a setup, because she called me right after telling me that the show set it up, and Jay was so effing horny and stupid and fell right in the trap, but they don't care because they all got their $500. Okay, so apparently they do pay them $500 is not enough, so they're cheap too. But She further said, and when he said to her, "You don't know why I did it," and she assaulted him on camera because she knew what he meant. She cheated on him before he got to PA, and while he was there countless amounts of time. He could have came back home, but he was effing stupid and stick around and be mistreated by her. I've seen how she treated and spoke about her mother, her brother that she said was a cokehead, and her friends, and it's just the worst. She never loved my brother either. She just wanted some big black D, and she wanted to stay in the show, and she couldn't without him. She was the one that got paid, and she hardly gives my brother his share of the money. I want to talk about that because for you guys who don't know, because they're illegal immigrants and they don't have work visas, they can't be paid by the show. So what ends up happening is the network TLC pays the American, and the American is supposed to pay their spouse. But that's a good point that she made. If Jay is deported and no longer on the show, she's no longer on the show, unless she's just going to go find her another black immigrant that she can be with and exploit. But this is just really interesting, all the stuff that's coming out. I mean, I don't know anybody who would think that Ashley is innocent. She seems like she's the sneaky hoish type, so I can definitely believe that she smells like fish and copper, number one. And number two, I can definitely believe that she would have an older sugar daddy. And I don't believe her victim mentality with her fake tears where she acts somehow like she's just a victim in the whole situation. When she went down there, her friend said that actually when she met Jay, she actually went down there to have sex with men in Jamaica. She also said that wasn't the only Jamaican dude that she had been with. She likes to troll for them, and we all know how that is, where you have sex tourism, where you have women of different races, mainly white women, who go to different countries, the black ones, either in Africa like Nigeria or Jamaica, for sex tourism. That is very, very big out there. There's even some YouTubers who've talked about it, who've traveled to Jamaica and talked about, you know, how they have a lot of sex tourism there. But I digress. Just her whole, I peeped her stilo from the beginning, y'all. Like, I don't see her as any victim. I don't see her as any good woman that he somehow lost. We all know with TV shows, they do want to up the drama, and so they will create scenarios, and I believe they created a scenario with her. It harkens me back to the season of 90 Day Fiance when that black chick was on there and her brother Nikki was on there, when they set up a scenario between her brother in which they got into a fight over Dave and Annie's situation. And I don't know if you guys watched that season where it was Dave's friend Chris was married to Nikki, the black woman, and when Nikki went online and she talked about it on her YouTube station, she stated that the show will create and set up scenarios. The scenarios won't necessarily be fake, but they will be instigated. So she said that scenario between Nikki's brother, Antonio, and Dave, where he called him a Batman penguin looking bitch.
You're my brother. I love you. No, you don't love me. What you talking about? He got up. Watch your mouth because you don't know me. Come on. You know of me. Come on. Sorry. Take your ugly ass back outside. You ugly ass.
She said that one was kind of a setup scenario. They kind of orchestrated it, although the reaction was real. So to me, that situation very well could be what they're saying it is, and I wouldn't take it at face value either. I would always look different into it. But I'll end this here. You guys get in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about all of this stuff that came out. Again, I'm going to keep watching and reviewing the show. I'll also keep following them to get more details about what's going on. But you guys let me know what you think. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you in the next one.